in your face. I don't actually know what I was. I don't actually know what the counter was for that one. No, I don't have a sick burn. We're playing Resident Evil, so that's cool. I think I was telling you before we kicked off, like, the Resident Evil series has been a big part of my life, and this remake of 2 looks like what you always hope remakes are going to be. You know, like, they take all the elements you love from them and try and bring those forward, while maybe glossing over some of the terrible, terrible cheesy parts. Maybe. Hey! J-Post is first to the door. What, old friend? How you doing, yo? Oh, currently I'm busting out a Cool Patrol by Ninja Sex Party. I'm a big fan. Big fan, big fan. Yo, what? What was that? With an additional round of What are you up to?
Nothing.
J-Po said, had fun losing 5 out of 6 rounds of Magic today. Oh, I mean, so long as you had fun, and that isn't, no, it isn't a bad time. Also, Marshall Rhea, what, old friend? How you all doing? How you all doing? So, I downloaded the Resident Evil 2 remake demo. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce that. MS-05 Jazaku. I'm hoping that's a Gundam reference, because that's feckin' cool. Well, I will refer to you as Zaku. And Zaku, thank you kindly for the follow. You'll notice that I'm surprisingly chill. Yesterday ended up being a most splendiferous night. And I don't know if I've destroyed my voice or have a cold coming. Or both. So... Hey, numbers! What, old friend? Moose, what's going down? Quasi saying, what? Ho! Colour me surprised. Ah. Dear Quasi, I will colour you whatever you would like. I have like a whole deluxe box of crayons. Rose Moose says, how's the hangover? Surprisingly non-existent. Which is actually more worrying than reassuring. And if you've ever had what I call the bomb diffusal wake up, which is when you're lying on your back and you wake up and you're like, I don't know if I'm hungover. So you open one eye and you look around. You're like, all right, does this cause me extreme agony? No. Do I feel like I want to, my brain to crawl out through my only open eye? No. All right, let's go for 2. All right, we got this. We got this. Okay, now comes the danger thing. We're gonna try a roll. That's the point. Like that's the life or death. That's the, did you cut the red wire? On that roll, that's when you know. No! Numbers, no! Numbers, no! I'm not saying it out loud. Hey! Quasi says, they choose purple. Bleed purple, friend. Bleed purple. I'm not actually wearing a Twitch hoodie, so that doesn't quite carry through, but yeah. Rosemary says, that's when you roll the dice. Yeah, I'm actually still remembering carrying a D20 with me again, because I stopped doing that for a while, because I'm a sharphead. So yeah, I guess starting out with thank yous. Thank you everybody who turned out in chat for the sober stream last night. We basically ruled the chat for like an hour and a bit, so that's really cool. I mean, I feel more than a little bit smug rocking up and just being like, yo, I'll host for an hour, chat, that's my peoples. And it was funny that I got Kiwi, Cobalt, and DS Cooper. DS Cooper who raided, Cobalt who I've interviewed before, and Shiny Kiwi who's been in chat like a whole bunch. So it was really good. So yeah, Marshall, we're going to be tearing into the Resident Evil 2 remake demo today. Now, Marshall's had a crack at this earlier on, and what I've been informed is that while there's a half-hour time limit, so basically we can die as many times as we want, we can do whatever, but we get half an hour to do it. However, when we pause it, it pauses the timer. So we're going to be able to like pause it, deconstruct some elements, talk about the things that are going on. Like the Resident Evil series has been very important for me personally for a very long time. Hey, derp. What ho, friend? Kestrel! What ho, friend? What ho! Resident Evil 2 is what's going down. That is what is happening. So Marshall says the only time I ever feel bad after a night of drinking was proper alcohol poisoning. Never really got hungover. I say this with love, Marshall, but anytime anyone says I don't get hangovers, my brow raises and goes like, let's go drinking. But that is for another day. Derp saying, good to see you. It's been a busy weekend. Ponytail is on fleek today, bud. Ponytail on fleek today. You fucking wait. Anyway, so as I said, the Resident Evil 2 remake has a demo. Came out like a couple days back, and I really wanted to play it for you because I wanted to play it, and I kind of thought it would be a cool thing for us all to look at, to talk about, you know, survival horror video games as they progressed. I mean, it's worth remembering that Resident Evil was doing zombies in video games before it was cool. You know, back when even kind of like the Romero films were a bit of a kitsch subsection of nerd culture. I don't know if I can even pinpoint when it was that zombies exploded, but yeah. God. But we had multiple zombie games that came out. You know, the Resident Evil series kind of owned that Romero horror. And hey, Sean, what old friend? How you doing, dude? Now I've actually worked out that Sean Peoples is not a clever code name. It is in fact you, Sean. It's lovely to see you, dude. Crowstick says, oh hi! I'm back from Oulu. This is the GF for a weekend, so I was missing something from here. Ah, well there we go. Sean says, very good. So your tweet ready to hear. Hey, well thank you for coming in, yo. Tiny fun story. So the first time I encountered Resident Evil 1 was my cousin had picked up a PlayStation, and he was working security for a company in London. So I came up for the weekend to hang out with him, and I was way too young for this. And so he was working security, which basically meant we just played PlayStation games all day, sitting in reception, which was real cool. The problem was, the only telly we could borrow was downstairs, in the basement, in one of the meeting rooms. And all the lights were right where the TV was. So what we had to do was we turned all the lights, wheeled the TV up, but then to take it down, what we had to do was wheel the telly in like 5 or 6 rooms into it, and then turn the lights off and leave. And that scarred me for a while, trying to make my way to this dark, like labyrinthian, open plan cubicle type office thing, and yeah, that was a bad time. And one of the things that I love is that Resident Evil didn't come from action games. Resident Evil came from point-and-click adventure action type things. You know, Alone in the Dark was the one that kind of took that point-and-click element and added horror and 3D to it. And Resident Evil was the articulation on that. Even the tank controls and the weirdness was a hangover from its... hangover's the wrong term. Was something inherited. And I think that's really cool. Because the tank controls and other such elements of Resident Evil, like the slow opening doors, how you move around, the weird puzzles, became iconic. But their DNA lies in other genres. I mean, there are very few games which get to be the first. You know, is Resident Evil survival horror now when we look at what survival games are and what horror games are? Possibly not. But it was the progenitors of those. The Resident Evil series has been sometimes brilliant, sometimes sublime, sometimes stupid. Oh god. I will aim at you with this sniper rifle and miss! Thank you, Resident Evil Code Veronica. Give me the dumbest villain of all time. And the Resident Evil series has always been married to its film inspirations. You know, Romero, John Woo, the whole shebang. It's important. The Resident Evil series is important, just to games as a whole. And so the idea of playing the demo kind of by myself without all of you lot, that seemed kind of weird and wrong. So there we go. So, in case you don't know the scoop, the way it goes down is that there is half an hour of gameplay that we get. We can play as much or as little of the stories we want. We can die as many times as we want. We get 30 minutes. But we can pause the game. So I'm just going to have to remember to pause while we deconstruct little bits. If there's any cool things that you see that you want to talk about or call out, just at Viking Blonde in chat. I'll pause the game and we'll keep talking. Aaron's like, it's Sunday. What is this? Meowkis says, greetings. Right. So what we are doing today is we're going to be deconstructing the Resident Evil 2 demo because we can. I wanted to play it, and the idea of not playing it with you lot seemed weird and wrong. Also, alright. Last little bit of kind of like waffle field before we get on. So at Sober last night, I got a lot of congratulations on the 600. Like a lot. Thank you all. I do want to remind, like, your generosity is what keeps me alive. You know, throwing bits, donating, subs, the whole shebang. It keeps me alive, it keeps me running this. But please, donate within your means. I had one lovely individual who messaged me saying that they were really heartbroken they were going to have to cancel and reimburse their sub. And I mean, my first thought was, but are you okay? Like, take care of yourself. So yeah. Quasi, no, I'm not saying it! Numbers was trying to get me to say it earlier. I'm not saying it. But yeah, so thank you all. I just wanted you to know how much. Zaku, thank you kindly. That's a tier 2 sub as well, Zaku. Thank you, yo. So to you I say, Watto and welcome. So jumping back in, Beta's saying, it's funny that you can play Resident Evil to Romero, since it still occupies a similar niche. But it isn't the zombie things in its medium, it's the one that had the impact. Well, so Beta, what I'm saying is that Resident Evil took inspiration from Romero. You can see, like, in the iconic Resident Evil 1 scene where the zombie comes up from eating one of the other STARS members and just looks over its shoulder. I mean, that's almost taken directly from Night of the Living Dead. And especially in the later Resident Evils, like Code Veronica, I think is the archetype of it. The beginning with Claire Redfield, fucking running through an office building while a helicopter strafes across. And the move where she puts her hands up, drops the gun, sees the explosive barrels as the gun is falling, then drops to her knees, catches the gun, shoots the barrels, explodes. Like, that's some straight up John Woo stuff. I don't actually know which film it was where the drop catch came from, but it's probably Chow Yun Fat's probably in it. Quasi says, if Resident Evil was inspired by Romero, where is Dead Rising? Well, I mean, Dead Rising is Dawn of the Dead wholesale. It's Dawn of the Dead wholesale. Now, Meowki Sakura, that does help me. And Lucian Gray's pointing out, just be glad you aren't making XCOM characters for 115 people. I think you mean 116. Thank you, Zaku. Dirk says, what are you drinking? Just a bit of tea. I drank a lot last night. And I don't know if I've destroyed my voice from shouting or if I have a cold coming on, so I'm taking it surprisingly zen considering our topic. The Plunge says, a bit of Day of the Dead in there too, Dead Rising. Did Dead Rising predate Day of the Dead? No, wait, no, Day of the Dead. Sorry, I'm thinking of the Day of the Dead. Okay. Like, quick TLDR, if you've not encountered Romero's kind of classic zombie trilogy, is that each of them is a commentary rather than a... Each of them has an underlying theme commenting on a certain aspect of American culture. So, Night of the Living Dead is about racism, Dawn of the Dead is about rampant consumerism, and Day of the Dead is essentially about the the insanity of the military complex. I'm not saying I agree with all of those points, but whereas the first film is about, you know, inherent racism in all things, even when the world's coming to an end, Dawn of the Dead is about, you know, the humans as zombies analogy is really ham-fisted, but Romero's the first one to do it. And the last film is that even at the end of the world, the military machine is still believes it can solve all of the things with shooty gunfight. Again, I'm not saying I agree with these points, but that was kind of what was put forward. Dirt McDirt says, when you see you in Shaun of the Dead reboot? Alright, reset the clock. Hours since someone has said I look like Simon Pegg. Alright. Okay. Vader says, Romero was not known for his subtlety, but he did it first. I mean, using horror as a social commentary, I'm not sure he was the first person to do that, but damn if he didn't bust it out. So Quasi says, late night theory. Sorry if it's hard to follow. Hey, today's just going to be chatting and waffling. Oh, and before I read out your comments, so the plan is we're going to play this for as long as we're going to stop, start, pause, chat about it. And then I'm going to throw over to Ket, who's going to be streaming. Have you decided what you're streaming tonight, dude?
I'm not. Probably too area though.
Okay, I'm down for that.
Still haven't got that plan down.
Yeah. So Quasi's saying late night theory. Dead Rising is inspired by Day of the Dead, but also Resident Evil. Combine the two to somehow be more like Day of the Dead than the movie itself. Well, Dawn of the Dead is I think the one that you mean, but yes. One of the things that's been really interesting is that, you know, because of the kitsch, cheesy nature of a lot of the early zombie materials, including Resident Evil, led to the kind of the realistic. I almost said bite back. God. Screw you, brain, you terrible puns. They're terrible puns. Also, Lizzie says, hello, bodiless Ket. Hang on, let me spin the camera around so you can all see. There's Ket getting ready for... There's Ket getting ready for the next show. So... what was I saying? Oh, so I feel that Dead Rising, while it is still quite comedic, was moving more towards what I'd call like the second wave of zombie content. You know, The Walking Dead, DayZ, those kind of elements that looked at, okay, but what if for reals though? I know it's ridiculous because Dead Rising became known for its comedic silliness, but there was, you know, its crowd mechanics, the swarm size that it could do is still something impressive. But those are my feels. Anyway, without further ado, let's start getting into this. If you have any stories about Resident Evil or zombie horror stuff in general, just throw them in chat. Just please make sure to add Viking Blonde so I don't miss it. Lizzie's saying, chat was with you doing a round of sober hosting. Yeah, it was. Lizzie, I did want to say thank you again. Hey, Captain Steph, what old friend? I wanted to say thank you all for rocking up to sober then, because the chat was pretty much us and our crew with a few, and you guys were asking really nice questions. You were being really funny. Even if you were encouraging Shiny Kiwi to punch me, you bastards. I'm really breakable. It's documented now. BT! What old friend? How you doing, yo? How you doing? I need to add some of my sober photos to the photo reel there. Rosebu says, documented with a single sign. A Hindle with, well, it's very noodly. Well, I'm saying I was actually a late comer to the Resident Evil series. I got into it from 4 on the GCN, and then worked my way through the other ones. Well, I mean, you came in a good one. One of the things that's really interesting is that Resident Evil has not only... Resident Evil series has reinvented itself several times. Like, you got Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 7, and now this one. Like, and this is coming kind of like on the tail of 7. The series has not been afraid to reimagine itself, and that's really powerful. People don't do that. It's interesting that what we've seen with the Call of Duty franchise, not to throw rocks at a big target, but the Call of Duty franchise reinvented itself by going in a brave new direction, which has now become the norm. Like, And in the same time that Resident Evil reinvented itself several times over, Call of Duty's only done it once. And yeah. It does mean that with Resident Evil, sometimes you end up with this one-on, one-off philosophy. Like, I really enjoyed 1, 2, and 3. Code Veronica has a special place in my heart, but I also accept that it's pretty terrible. Resident Evil 4 was stupendously good. Outbreak was a great idea, and if you don't know about Outbreak, it was originally going to be... Sorry. Outbreak was meant to be a multiplayer on the PS2. Unfortunately, the PS2, despite saying it was going to ship with a modem, didn't. And the PS2 online functionality that was shipped later on was woefully lacking. So actually, Resident Evil Outbreak wasn't an online title to my understanding. Resident Evil Outbreak 2 was, but by that point, you know. Kestrel saying, which Ninja Sex Party song is this? Is it that obvious? It's the Courtship of the Mermaid. Lizzie says, you were around adults who could rush your broken bone body to ER or a walk-in clinic. Yeah, but I don't want to become that guy. Oh, look, here comes Broken Bones McGee. Okay, as much as I love listening to Danny Sexbang scream, hey, do you like pizza? Let's get this kicked off. Because I want to get into this one. What was I adding? Oh yeah, I guess that there were a few elements that I don't think necessarily... Oi, you. I might... There are a few elements when talking about the Resident Evil series that I don't think people really get stuck into. Like, with Resident Evil 2, depending on which character you chose, you play through the entire game. There were 2 separate campaigns in Resident Evil 2, but which character you chose first and then played the other one, it would remember your choices in one campaign and the other would reflect it. So which campaign you played through first would have a direct effect on the other, which is fecking cool. Oh, also, there is going to be a giant block of playable tofu as an unlockable character in this one. And Reflective giving us some nice classic facts saying, funny thing, Night of the Living Dead was almost a flop. They went through a name change. They were Night of the Flesh Eaters. When they changed the name, they forgot to copyright notification so anyone could show it for free. So theatres all over the place jumped on a free horror movie and it kicked off. Interesting. Marshall says, do you mean Ninja Sex Party is not appropriate for zombie shenanigans? Oh, I've got no bloody clue. Oh, Captain Steph, I'm sorry you're feeling sick, and I hope you feel much better, alright? Oh, and then Beta was saying that, yeah, it was never copywritten, so it's public domain. That's really interesting. Alright. Love to you too, Reflective. Go have an excellent night, yo. Okay, so let's get this movable feast underway. Now, again, if you have any thoughts, feels, cool Resident Evil facts you want to talk about, just at Viking Blonde or pause and we can chat about it. Go to the online store. Okay. Headphones in. Oh, guess what? It does binaural audio. So fuck my life. Excuse my language. Dirt McDirt says, fact! Resident Evil is a good game series. I'm Barry Scott, and when I'm not selling you the slap chop, I'm in fecking Raccoon City. Lizzie asking the important questions. How is your head feeling this morning? I was actually feeling alright, but as I said, I don't know if I just shouted myself hoarse last night or if I got a cold coming, so... Skyline looks like... Derp says, hey, actually, it's Vince from ShamWow. Well, I'm sorry. Oh, actually, there is a really cool thing I want to show you all. Because we're mostly PC gamers, right? I think we're... So check this out. This is all the graphical options in the game. And it shows how much graphics memory we have and how much we're using. Now check this out. Each option on the menu, it tells me what it has an effect on and how much it'll affect the graphics memory. So if I change image quality, it'll change the processing load and image. Changing the refresh rate will not affect graphics memory. Same with the frame rate. Now, we know this, but someone who's not necessarily as clued in. Now, anti-aliasing, there's another one. That doesn't affect the graphics memory, but it does affect the processing load. Texture quality affects models, and then it gives us examples of what it's going to output there. That is really cool, and I would love to see that. Kestrel says, fact! Resident Evil is a game about zombies. I'd love to see this kind of options menu available, especially for more complex games, because sometimes it does feel like... I mean, look at that. Look at that. Sometimes it does feel like you're just kind of whacking buttons to try and get it running smooth in the way you feel that it should. Yeah, we're just going to turn off the motion blur. Depth of field's pretty good. Lens distortion. God. Yeah, and I could spend hours popping around in this one. Right. Oh, Clank's saying, I like the newer game tells you how much RAM you have. Yeah. BT says, fact! You just need to read the word fact in a silly voice. Damn it, BT! Alright. Well, I don't think we need to turn anything down, but... Okay. So, you lovely, lovely folks, without further ado, let's get this started. Okay, it was supposed to be a short break for Leon S. Kennedy. Just one last pit stop at the gas station on the outskirts of town, when the rookie cop found himself surrounded in a sea of zombies. Along with newfound friend Claire Redfield, Leon managed to escape Raccoon City, only for an accident to split them apart. Deftly navigating through the perilous streets, Leon made his way to the city's police station. But has he really made it to safety? The answer is no. He's in the... Ugh. He's in the bad place. Okay, explore your surroundings. Yeah, I get it. Don't... Alright.
Hello? Is anybody here?
Oh, that's cool. Ooh, that's very rad. Plutonor says, hey Will, just popping in to say what-ho before bed. Sorry I haven't been around lately, but AGDQ, I'm sure you understand. Here. Of course I do. Yeah, that guy's gonna have a bad time.
Not good.
David, Marvin, you there? I found a way out. It's in here. Send reinforcements. East hallway.
Damn, this looks good.
I gotta find that guy.
Who's that guy? I should find him. Anything good for me? Really digging this. View the map, so we here. And we... Whoa!
All we want to do is eat your brains. We're not unreasonable, no one's gonna eat your ipchitene.
Oh, fucking Quasi, thank you for that one. Maybe we should compromise. That seems like a good idea. Oh, that one's locked. Oh, good. So we're going underneath there. God. Damn, it's good to be back. Now, the police station's a weird one, because you spend so much time in Resident Evil 2 in the early game, desperately trying to get here. But when you finally do, When you finally do, it is far from the wonderful, joyous safety that you were hoping for. So it ends up being this terrifying explanation. I know how words work. Let me take a slug of tea and a moment. I mean, it's a classic trope now, but it's kind of the, we'll get to the police station, we'll get weapons, there'll be people there, we'll tool up, we can do this. No, the police station is death. Beta says, I wonder why they never named a Resident Evil character after a Romero character. Too obvious, maybe? Maybe? Or perhaps a lot of it didn't necessarily translate. There's a few weird quirks. Oh my word. There's a few weird quirks of translation that have happened throughout the Resident Evil series. But that's another story. Beta... Oh, and the Bear Toast. What ho to your good self. Hello. Cryostick says, I hope Leon finds a magazine titled How to Do a Suplex. Now see, normally I would cheese it around, explore every little element of this. Like, oh good. Here's a bunch of weird-ass puzzles we'll be doing later. Don't think we can do anything up here. Of course it's locked. Alright. Let's just continue. It's so weirdly nostalgic to look upon this. Over the years, there have been like a gajillion different projects that have tried to remake Resident Evil 2 in varying engines. There was a Half-Life mod, there was an Unreal mod, there was a Quake 3 one that actually did pretty well for a while. Oh, good. Mate, this isn't the place that you stole. Oh, crap.
Okay.
I bet this isn't gonna work. Oh, good. Hey, do you know what's fun? Binaural audio in horror games. Mate, no.
You got this.
Yeah, you do, Leon. I got you. I got you. Oh, I don't like it. See, I mean, now we know that most of the city has been designed by Umbrella Corp just to shit up my day. What do you reckon? Dead, not dead? It's worth a bullet. Lizzie's asking, can we have jump scare notifications on? I mean, I don't know. There's only going to be half an hour of this. Is that something that you lot would like? Because I'm happy to turn it on. I mean, they're currently still set to the alien ones, but... BT, I don't like it. I want that one. I want that zombie. Oh, no. No, I don't like that. No, no. Jack's like, nope, don't need. Alright, and Cryostic's like, no, I don't know, jump scares are a waste of 30 minutes. That's a good point. I mean, we've used 5 minutes up already. And check it out. Oh, achievement unlocked, 5 minutes played. This is where the press conference must have gone down before things really kicked off. Lights on. Job's done. Do I have a knife? Oh, The one thing, it's probably not coming through. Oh, Lizzie says you failed the first rule of Zombieland, the double tap. Thank you. And the forever reloads. Oh, this is bad. Oh dear. But yeah, so what I was saying before things started getting slightly unnerving is that this game is... A lot of people have tried to... Oh great. I've tried to remake this game several times. Oh, and Adam, stay out of the women's restroom. Yay, first aid spray in the bathroom. That's exactly what we need. Would you like some coffee?
Jesus.
Open up! Hurry! Open up! Open this goddamn door!
I'll get you out!
Please!
Give me your hand.
Help me!
I got you. Give me your other hand.
He's about to have a... Oh! Oh!
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna go get you a band-aid! Jesus. No more drink for you, mate. You're legless. Marshall Ray with, come on, mate, it's only a flesh wound. Alright, goddess, statue, medallions, underground, way out. One from the wolf, one from the harp lady, and the unicorn. Okay, so, first little point. That was horrifying. As Hindle's saying, we got the first aid spray, just pshh. Cryo sticks with, what a waste. As in waistband. I love you guys. Rivals Moose says, just give him a bow, it'll be super useful. Yeah. He just had a bad time. Oh, so they are not messing around. Now, one of the things that's really interesting is that even comparable to games at the time, the classic Resident Evil. Oh, that made me jump. Oh, we're not doing the whole. Oh, damn, that's nasty. Please tell me you all saw that. 3 to put them down, but. Oh.
Go and die with honor.
Damn, that's an ugly baby. Okay, so we can. So later on we can start like blocking off windows and stuff. That's cool. You can feckin'. Okay, so one of the things that it's really not coming across is that the binaural audio on this is feckin' amazing. Vanderbeest, thank you very much for the 2000, for the 200 cheer. I'm not implying. The sound of the zombie scratching away at the other side of that shutter is very, very real. Like, upsettingly real, friends. Oh, Beta says, what are the zombie rules about Resident Evil? Never really played them. Pretty classic. Zombie bites can turn, but if you are bitten and infected, eventually you will change. Headshots tend to do the trick, unless you're fighting the Los Pigales. Is it Los Pigales? The parasites. In which case, headshots make things go weird. One of the tricks early on in Resident Evil is to try and use the knife as much as possible. Because in the early segments, they tend to give you more... They tend to give you more health items in the early games, in the early zones, so you basically just... Fucking hell.
Jesus! They're everywhere!
Anyway, so headshots are good. Oh, we've played 10 minutes so far. Oh! Yay, more bullets. Wooden boards. Okay, this is terrible.
Damn it!
Alright, kids. Well, what was it? I think was it Lizzie said, Lizzie said I have to remember the Zombieland rules of always double tap. Now, the remake of Resident Evil 1 added this element called the Red Skulls, which is zombies that aren't burnt or headshot will come back. Like, they basically have like a second resurrection, and it's vicious. Alright, that should help. So I guess we head back out to the... I gotta say, everybody, it's already building a crap load of tension that I did not sign up for. Okay, and jumping back in. Oh, Lizzie's saying, yeah, Red Skulls are nasty. Very positive says, I love Return of the Living Dead, where they never found a way to kill the zombies. Interesting. And I will say that I, maybe not so much as I was in its initial, but I do like series like The Walking Dead and things like that. But it's interesting to think that, you know, the Resident Evil 2 predates The Walking Dead, and to my understanding, it also predates World War Z and the Zombie Hunter's Guide, I want to say. Rise Moose says, Will, playing a horror game. I did not sign up for this tension. Hey, Johnny! XD Johnny XP! What, old friend? How goes it, yo? How goes it? Do no worry, Johnny. Do no worry. Oh, Ingevart! I do apologise. I was surrounded by haunting amounts of the undead. I almost missed your greeting there. What, old friend? We're playing the Resident Evil 2 demo about, well, I'm pausing for Wafflemancy rather than eating our time, but we're playing a little bit of the police station. And this particular section, if we can, I don't know how far in this we can get, but...
Come on.
Oh.
God damn it!
Kick him, Leon!
Watch out!
Oh! Who the feck are you? Oh!
Safe. For now.
Thanks.
Marvin Branner.
Leon Kennedy. There was another off strike. I couldn't...
Here.
Facial anims are real good.
I'm sure you did what you could, Leon.
Yeah, I want to give this guy all my
Does anyone
healing
know what
items.
started this?
Not a clue. But honestly, all you need to know is that this place will eat you alive if you aren't careful.
Yeah, well, I was supposed to start last week, and I got a call to stay away. I wish I'd come here sooner.
You're here now, Leon. That's all that matters.
Okay, Lieutenant? I'm ready.
Hopefully you'll be able to find a way out of this station. That officer you met earlier, Elliot. He thought this secret passageway might do the trick.
This is good news. We can get you to a hospital.
No, I am not the priority here.
Lieutenant, I'm not just gonna leave you here.
I'm giving you an order, rookie. You save yourself first.
Yeah, Leon.
I'd come with you, but I'd just slow you down. Now, you'll need this.
I can't take him.
Stop. And don't make my mistake. If you see one of those things, uniform or not, you do not hesitate. You take it out, or you run. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Damn, those facial animations are great. Don't thank me, thank the knife. There we go. Alright, find 3 medallions. Piece of cake, right? Piece of cake. Yeah, I've really got to hand it to... confession time, I haven't, outside of events, I haven't actually played Resident Evil 7 yet. I played the demo, and I had a bunch of... I played the demo, and I played it a bunch at... wasn't PAX, was it GDC? God, I can't remember. But I still haven't played through Resident Evil 7, so maybe that's one we'll need to add to the list. And it's interesting because of all the things, the Resident Evil series was famous for its feckin' cheesy dialogue. A lot of Resident Evil did not survive the translation, if you know what I'm saying. Ingvar, I know I'm feckin' chill right now, but that's only because I had a very late night. This is so good. I mean, this is what I wanted the Raccoon City Police Department to look like in 3D. It's feckin' amazing. Kind of wish I could save this guy, but there we go. And being on a 15-minute timer makes things a wee bit awkward because I just want to explore. I want to go look at every little like nook and cranny in this entire place. So, what was I waffling on about before that? I can't even remember. Ingvar says 50 minutes. There's a way to go past, but I don't know if you can do that while streaming. I mean, if I desperately needed to, starting up an extra Steam account and playing it on there isn't against the terms of service. It's a free demo. But
when does the game launch officially?
that is an excellent question. Let me just have a quick look. Alright, now let's take a look. Alright. January 25th.
Oh, so that's very soon.
It is. Lizzie, as much as I love that idea, I do not think I'll be able to marathon all the Resi games. Whether or not we do this at launch or not is I guess a decision for us as a group. But if any of you are thinking of picking it up and would consider picking it up on the Humble store, well, That certainly wasn't Resident Evil, but whoever that was that picked up something on the Humble Store, sincerely appreciated, yo. Like, I know it's all like pennies and dollars here and there, but it does help. And if you're picking up a game anyway and you do it via that, feckin' thank you, yo. What was I waffling on about? Oh, Derpy McDerp says, who's that in the background? Derp, have you not met Ket yet? Oh, so, Ket, do you mind if I do a quick spin around? So, hang on, we'll go back to studio just so you can see a little better. So this is where I'm streaming from here. But this, Derpy, is our full setup. So this is my rig and setup here. It's me coffee. Oh, also, if you haven't seen it, I finally unpacked the limited edition Gorma Gala that Jim got me. But that's another story. So if I spin it over here, past our floating ring light, and that's Ket. Ket's house is where I've been staying. You know, the sofa I've been crashing on, and we converted a chunk of his house into a makeshift broadcasting studio. So we've got 2 rigs. So Derpy, what we're gonna do is we're probably gonna go through this demo, and then we're gonna try and piece it apart as best we can as a group. Because I know Marshall's played it, but I also would like all of your thoughts and feels on this one. Demos aren't usually a thing I do because, honestly, in 2019, a demo is a risky proposition. Rhymes and Moose says, you'd be forgiven for looking at that setup and thinking Ket's name was Nick. Yeah. That's... You know what? That's actually kind of a cool story. I guess for those of you that don't know, at PAX West last year, we did a long ship meet. And what we did is we got my community, Ket's community, Echoes, and a bunch of our friends, and just feckin' threw ourselves into a pub in Pioneer Square and got everyone together. And one of the things that I asked everyone to do at the end of the night was I asked everyone who attended to sign a poster, because I always like doing that. We actually used to do that when we played a lot of Magic the Gathering. We'd do these big games of Commander, and we'd get everyone to sign a bunch of cards, and then it'd be like a little trophy to take away. Anyway, Derp says, Derpy McDerp saying demos can be a bit of a crapshoot. Well, launching a demo is a risky proposition, because if it doesn't work, then you will turn off people who would have bought your game on day one. It's dark side, but if your game's not very good, and you launch a demo and people find out it's not very good, then there is a large swath of individuals who might have bought your game anyway who just don't. Johnny says, when will we see you going up against the Behemoth on Monster Hunter World? That is an excellent question. Derp says it helps that Resident Evil is an established series. It is. But with an established series comes a kind of an inherent detractors. Individuals who, for whatever reason, usually because the series was one that they really, really passionately cared about, and it either went in a direction they didn't like, or they changed an element that was core to them, that from there, the user goes from being the most engaged, the most viciously against. And launching a demo, even for a long-running franchise, can be a chance for those detractors to kind of make their points heard. Sixberg says, MTG, now you have my attention. Magic streams? Probably... I don't have any lined up in the near future, but I'm not against it. But you do have to understand, I'm not good at Magic. One of the reasons that I play so much Commander is that I'm much better at playing the table than I am at playing the cards. Now, Ket, who I just showed you all, is an exceptional Magic player. So at some point, we'll probably do a stream on his channel, tearing into Magic the Gathering Arena, which launched last year. Because honestly, I'm a hoarder when it comes to Magic. I'm not up to date on Standard. I can't tell you what's going down. So I'd rather do that stream on Ket's channel with Ket, with someone who actually understands Magic, as to a top tier, rather than just a numpty like me, you know what I'm saying? So Beta's saying there was an episode of, of Those Who Shall Not Be Named. Yeah. One of the interesting things about being in the age of digital distribution is that people are actually more likely to roll the dice and just buy a game outright, especially if it's a low to mid price point, rather than necessarily wait for the demo. The time of demo discs is long past. Oh, so Sixbird says, what's Ket's channel? Dun, 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 dun. I mean, if you stick... If you stick around for long enough, dear friend, then you will be able to see. But
Make sure.
but later this evening, sorry about that. Later this evening, we will be throwing over to Ket's channel anyway. So basically, all you got to do is stick around for about an hour and a bit while we deconstruct some Resident Evil. Right. Without further ado, let's do a little bit more exploring. So we know not that way. Can we open any of these? Because I think we've got to head upstairs now. Oh yes, because now we've got the knife, we can open this door. Alright, we're at the halfway mark on...
Not how I imagined my first day.
Oh shoot, Leon. If it's a choice between this and a million hours of paperwork, dude, I'll take the Zombocalypse. Green herbs! We all know what the green herbs are. Sixbug says, Resident Evil is one of my favourite series. You just made a friend for life. Well, Six, then you will find yourself in excellent company here. The Resident Evil series has been massively important to me for pretty much my whole... For as long as there have been Resident Evils in gaming. Oh, and so far, Six, I don't know if you've had a chance to try this demo, but it is incredibly well put together. Oh, that's the... oh.
Oh, what the fuck?
Anyone else hungry?
Huh? What?
Oh, good. Confiscated item storage. Of course it's not open. Oh, just going back in chat. So Bear Toast says, and on that note, Auntie, happy hunting. Well, time for bed. I'm sorry, Bear Toast. You had to see that squiggly jaw. Six says, I have it, loved it. Sad it was only 30 minutes. Wanted to explore all of it. That's true. I mean, I'm never a big fan of timed game experiences. Because we were talking about Dead Rising earlier on, and one of the things... Oh, God. One of the things that I did in the original was if you waited in the starting area before the main cutscene kicks off, you know that area where there's like the old lady with her dog and a bunch of things. If you stay in there past the first major event, so you have to wait in there for like half an hour, 40 minutes, but until it gets dark. If you wait through until that, then the timed events never kick off, and the only thing you can do is escape at the end of the 3 days. And so you're then essentially on like a free roam mode without free roam. Ah, so we were a little hasty to block that other window off. Cool. Oh, I can't do quick spins in this. So I guess the...
You bastard!
Totally gonna smash through in a second. Stab him on the ground! Stab him on the ground! That's how you say bullets when you stab him on the ground! I'm Leon with a knife! I'm Leon with a knife! Leon, mate, I think you've got problems. Sorry about that. Hey, Corbo, how you doing, yo? Ooh. Damn it, see, I want to sit and read all this stuff, but... Right, so we got the key card for some weapons. So back this party up. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Fuck you, video games.
What's wrong? They're just hanging out.
Did you just? Just hanging around. Fucking Cryostix would drop the brass. Of course, the ridiculousness of all the doors in this game. Oh. Lizzie with exclamation ket no. God, yeah. Oh, fucking tension in this game, I tell thee. I fucking tell thee.
So, a question. So, is this a remake, a remaster, or a reboot? Or a sequel, or what?
Ooh, that's an excellent question. So right now, if I had to answer honestly, I'd say this is currently a remake. It's not a remastered because it is very far removed from its original. You know what I mean? The controls are different. The gameplay is very different. The environment and theme and characters are very similar. Damn it! And here's that classic Resident Evil thing of not remembering where I got to go. Damn it, we're down to the last 10 minutes. Rhyme says, wasn't this originally advertised as a Resident Evil remake? Yeah. I mean, I'd put it more in the remake category than anywhere else. Oh, Marshall said, look in the notebook. Oh, yeah, but looking in the notebook... Crown Ram Bird Heart. Oh, so we've got to crack that one open. Oh, and Kestrel's heading to bed. Kestrel, sorry to show you such horrendous things before going to bed, but... Crown Ram Bird Harp. Crown Ram Bird Dove. Crown Lion Ram. There we go. Thank you. Lion Medallion. I see it's even got the classic limited inventory space. One of the things that was commented on a lot was how large weapons, how much space they take up. Oh, good.
So Elliot was right.
Yeah, but the passage isn't open yet.
Damn it, I'm going to work out where to next, because the doors upstairs are all locked. We've got the weapons key card. I'm pretty sure we've got to go upstairs. We've only got 7 minutes left, which is terrible. Oh, God, please give me all tea. Hey, evening, Camille. How are you doing? Camille says, "How goes your game?" Camille. It's so good. I'm mildly annoyed that they've got this 30-minute time limit on, which is why I'm pausing to chat to everybody. We're down to like 7 minutes left on this one, and I feel like, considering the pacing of this game, it's a little bit mean-spirited to only give us half an hour. But there we go. So yeah, we're playing this. We're deconstructing it. We are having a pick at it. Camille says, "Ooh, excellent! Into hour 6 of a custom map created for a custom map created for 7 Days to Die. Nice. That sounds feckin' cool." Draxbot says, "Any thoughts on why they put a time limit on and how it's working?" So you can only play this demo online. You connect to their kind of like Resident Evil Online thing, which is how it's keeping track of it. And what was I going to say? And currently, I don't know, if it was only 30 minutes per run, that would be fine, but it's 30 minutes per Steam account. So if we wanted to play this again, we would have to set it up. Oh, sorry, Jack's got to apologise. The timer that you cannot see is behind my face. So there we go. So there we go. What was I saying? I don't know, it just dropped out of my head. But hello. Zaku says, wait, you can't start the demo over with a fresh 30 minutes. Not to my understanding. I mean, Marshall, you played through this earlier today, so you might have a better understanding, but to my knowledge, you get 30 minutes. Now, you can play through this as many times as you want in 30 minutes, but... And Marshall says there is a tool to work around the time limit. I'm not sure if you want to use that kind of thing on stream, especially. It's one of those things where I don't think anyone would be mortally offended if I did, but one should not get into the habit of circumventing, because it could be construed as circumventing DRM or something along those lines. And in case you don't know, like using cheap programs, using hex editors on particular programs, anything that violates the EULA of a title is technically against terms of Twitch's service. Or Twitch's terms of service. I mean, terms of Twitch's service sounds like a place one goes to in London and does not emerge from for several days. And Lizzie's saying the game does come out soon enough. Oh, that's true. And, I mean, Lizzie, I don't... At its price point, I don't know if it's a game that we're going to be able to cover on the Longship initially, but it's definitely one that we'll get into. It's definitely one we'll get into. Marshall says, I mean, there is an end to the demo either way, but yes, I'm aware. I figured. So, Marshall, where should we head from here? We've got the weapons locker key. We've got one of the crests. I am happy to take some... I'm happy to take both direction and location. Our goal, I guess, should be to see as much as we can. And I don't know if it's coming across, but holy crud, this game is good. There's an art and craft here that's just feckin'... Yeah. It's weird to come back to discussing Alien Isolation quite as quickly as we did before, but again, you know what I feel like with this game? So far, just playing this little bit of this demo, the people making this love it as much as I do. The people who made this genuinely loved Resident Evil 2 and are doing such a faithful... not reconstruction, and not even reimagining, because they're staying true to the feelings of it, for the emotion, the art that people were trying to bring it across. Also, Scotty Doggy, what ho friend? Neo Shadow, Drags Vart, anyone that I didn't say hello to. What ho friend and welcome. What was I saying? Ingevart says, have you seen Dead Space director's interview that came out like 2 or 3 days ago? I actually haven't had a chance to look at it, which is criminal on my part, but I have these bunch of numpties that I stream for 5 days a week. You probably don't know them because they're really, really cool people, but yeah, they keep me rather busy, and sometimes emotionally broken. Marshall says, to your right, there's a box with some tape over it that you can cut with a knife. We did one of those, Marshall. Is there 2? And I'll just do a quick unpause. Because we did this one. We cut the tape on that one. Is there another one of those? character pools. Dragsbot says, I was kind of curious if they made the demo unfinishable in time provided, just to up the hype. Potentially? And Ingvar saying, you can watch it... Oh, excuse me. How am I still tired? Criminal! You can watch it with them if you wish to. I mean, the ending of that interview pretty much got my hopes up about this title, because that's really interesting. The Dead Space team... I mean, Dead Space was one of the other... Not one of the other. Dead Space is a seminal horror game, and it solidified so many excellent techniques for creating horror games. And a good evening to you, Rosen. How you doing? What, oh friend? What was I saying? Oh, Ingvar says about Dead Space, the original Dead Space team, the first one. Dead Space did a lot of smart new choices that were articulations on previous horror games, and did some really, really fresh stuff as well. It's interesting. It's interesting when you look at Resident Evil 1 when it came out, and then look at Dead Space 1 when it came out, and it's seeing the evolution of a genre is always something I really like. You know what I'm saying? Okay. There's one door on the upstairs we haven't tried again, and I hope it's not that one. Because... Hey, Stooge, what, oh friend? Because these upstairs are taking us for feckin' ever. Damn it. And this is one of the things I like about the pacing of the classic Resident Evils is that it was designed initially, you know, similar to Alone in the Dark, similar to exploration games. Marshall said the way we went down last should have gone further, I think. Best guess is that we missed something there. Roger, roger. That we can do. Also, you notice I've been trekking blood all around the place. Alright, we checked there. These guys made me jump. Thank you, guys. That's the confiscated area. We'll see if we can find the weapons locker. Stooge is like, Resident Evil 2 cleaned up good. It really did. So there's that room there. Can't go through there. So let's see what we've got here. Aha! Remember, check your 6.
Jesus.
Wow, that aim on this is actually really precise.
Oh boy.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Seriously? Oh, crap. 5 minutes left.
Son of a bitch.
He's dead, Jim. damn it, Leon, I need your badge, your gun, and your stupid floppy hair. These are some sturdy zombies. Darn right you are, friends. I have no idea what that combination is. Yeah, we might have to get stuck into this one, friendos. This is really good. Looks fucking gorgeous. Now, I've been told that with the new Resident Evil, well, with Resident Evil 7, ho ho ho, now I've got a shotgun. Better get a move on. I should get a fucking chance to use this thing. Help me, come through window. Come on. Fine.
What the?
Oh please, Leon, this ain't the weirdest thing you've seen today. Damn, that's another good bear. Oh! Maybe rush out. Yeah! Damn. This game is exceptionally meaty. Second floor. Oh, red herb. Yeah, I know. Delicious herbs. We're not going to need them, but there we go. The zombies in this are hardy. I don't know if we're going to make it to the interview rooms with enough time. How are we doing? Shit. 2 minutes. Feck you, game. Ha! Little mannequin. Alright. Let's see if we can make it. Oh, shit, bed.
What in the?
Huh. I've seen the liquors way earlier. Oh, this game's so good. I need more time! I need more time!
So it sounded like the demo is being effective.
I'm not giving him a free pass, but... Ooh, hip pouch. The most stylish. Oh, crud. Jeez. The bullet impacts are so gory.
Leon, it's Marvin. I need you back here ASAP.
Are you okay, Marvin?
I've got something to show you. It's important.
Copy that. I'll be right there.
Oh, good. Yo, the sound effects in this are so good. Back! God damn it. Experience the rest of the story in the full game. So, That was very good, one and all. We didn't even get feckin' close enough to see any more than just like the vaguest of dustings. And the thing is, I really wanted to spend more time just looking at all the details. There was so much there. And I don't know if it came across to you all just watching, but playing it. It really did feel like whoever created this genuinely gave a crap about Resident Evil 2, about where it was coming from and where it was going, and that's really something that I like.
I want to find out what's happening here.
She's the one at Umbrella responsible for unleashing the virus.
Seems to be evolving much faster than expected. You gotta be kidding me.
God only knows what's down here.
What the hell?
It'll be all over soon.
I'll get you, you fucker! Sherry, I'm coming!
I'm not handing over anything!
Jesus Christ! That? You don't know what you're up
The
against.
whole place is coming down.
Had a pretty damn good idea.
Next time in Resident Evil 2 Plus.
This is Hunk from Alpha.
The most overrated character in the whole series. Resident Evil's own Boba Fett. He even got his own feckin' game. Tofu! Tofu. Hidden character from the Resident Evil franchise. Okay, so Tofu-chan's in. I'm just like, yeah, call me controversial. I think Hunk is entirely overrated. His whole backstory, the reason why he's important in the Resident Evil is he was the only person who, instead of trying to fight a mad scientist pumped full of, like, super monster drugs, he was the one that went, you know what? I should take the sample and just book it. Like, he's the equivalent of a stormtrooper sniper who hit the target because he dropped his gun. Like, he had just enough sense. He had just enough sense to get out when shit went sideways. And then he ends up being, like, retconned into this massive badass. Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, which was a game I did want to stream for you all. It's fecking awful. Like, it's so bad. But it's so bad in a cheesy way. And it's like, it turns out that Hunk's like this master Black Ops guy, and he has his own team. He has his own team of special forces people. And the whole thing is they all wear different kinds of masks, because they handle, like, biohazard operations. Jack's Gulch is saying, you said you haven't played 7. I haven't played 7 through. I've had hands-on, I'm very impressed with it, but no, I've not played through all of 7. And while... Oh, no, don't take me to the product page. No. No. Oi, feck it, wait. Thank you. I know it's going to say no more, but it's worth a shot. Oh no, it just says thank you for playing. Alright, it was worth a shot. The QA tester in me had to try it. Yeah, we know. Cryostic says, I do hope we play 7 one day because I have some mixed thoughts on that. It's both super good and super annoying to me. Interesting. Moose is saying if he had a full team, I know he made it out, does that make him less of a badass? I mean, he was just the one that had the common sense to just book it out of town when everyone else was getting themselves killed anyways from Sunday. So quick show of hands, how many of you all have had a chance to play this so far? Do any of you have any additional thoughts and feels? Because I really felt like, at least the last half of that demo, I felt like I was just rushing against the clock. And there's probably a bunch of cool details and cool elements that I completely missed because of it. Again, one of the few things that gets my goat, that grabs my, grass consuming mammal. I don't know where I was going with that joke, I'm sorry. Excuse me. But one of the things that always gets my grump is when the game resents me for playing. Either it doesn't want me to be a part of, or the game doesn't trust me to play it in the way that it intends. So, when games force you to play in a certain manner, or put you into a bunch of QTEs, or when NPCs that you've been given basically handle the fight for you. This didn't feel like that. This actually felt like the game desperately wanted me to see so much, because there was so much detail and so many little quirks and interesting mechanics, like the windows. The windows we could bar up, but there are a bunch that we could say. There was a bunch we could bar up, and so that becomes more of a mechanic. The idea that you can put a Z down with a few bullets to the face, but you got to blow that head clean off if you want it to stay down. Fucking love it. Johnny says, well, Will, it was an entertaining watching you, but it's now 3:40 a.m. Catch you later and have a good one. Johnny, it's always lovely to see you, yo. I'll be back on Tuesday. I don't think I'll be streaming tomorrow, just because I should take a break. Marshall's saying, I'm surprised how positive I feel about this game again. I didn't have the time limit, and now it's looking like I'm buying my first Resident Evil game soon. Well, that's interesting, because Mr. Ghost was saying the same thing, which is that sorry to say they've never played a Resident Evil before, not a single game. And my thoughts to the demo so far is, I mean, it looks fine, it's well put together, and the parts are just, I don't really feel my blood boil for it. I don't know. I mean, that's fair. And Mr. Ghost, this is why I like discussing this with you all. I am too far the other way, friends. I love the Resident Evil series. Resident Evil 2, I played it on the I played it on PS2, I played it on the re-release on fucking Dreamcast. I've played almost every one of the classic Resident Evil 2 remake mods that I could get my hands on. Cryostic says, I'm not sure about the Leon random voice lines during this, like, son of a bitch, and what the? Lessen the moments for me, but beyond that, it looks good. True. And Cryostic's, I wonder if they have a system where Leon will react to what is going on, but because the demo starts clear, it's basically the things that Leon would have done much, much earlier in the city. Marshall says, your choice, of course. I didn't care for this franchise before either, but this was really good playing it myself, and it feels very different from watching. Maybe it's just not for you, but that's totally fine. And this is, as I said, this is why I like chatting it through. The thing about our genre is that as an artistic medium, games are moving so fast. Iconic, seminal pieces that change the face of how we think about games, existed within our lifetime. You know, it's not like the time between games that change everything is much, much shorter when you think about it. And while there are some like younger individuals who weren't around or weren't able to play the Resident Evils when they dropped, like, you know, I mean, I'm what, 30, and I've been there for most of like gaming's seminal moments. I mean, Resident Evil, when it dropped, was the first of its kind, and it was fresh and weird and different. One thing that was interesting is how it wholeheartedly embraced awkward controls to make itself work. Resident Evil 4, the way it made you feel claustrophobic when you were aiming, that's art and craft, and that's something that's been used a lot since. You know, Dead Space has done so much, and you can see where Dead Space has learned from Resident Evil as a franchise and from others, but then you can now see where the rest of the industry has learned from Dead Space. Yeah. Oh, Scotty, no. Scotty says, scarier than playing the game, realizing that Veronica was nearly 20 years ago. Dear Lord. Code Veronica's 20 years old? God. Now, I have no way of streaming it legally, but one game that I would love to stream for you all is Parasite Eve 2, because that is a game that takes this kind of concept and blends together a whole bunch of stuff. So what else? I'm really impressed they left in the bizarrity of Resident Evil 2. Like, you're in a police station, but there are certain doors that are locked by whimsically coloured keys, and there is a statue in the foyer that leads to a secret exit. Like, and to unlock that secret exit, you have to turn these little combination locks on the fountain, and it's like, excuse me, what? I like that they left that in. I believe that it turns out that Umbrella designed the police station as part of their tests. But honestly, the more you look at Resident Evil's overarching lore, the less it makes sense. So I just try and take it. I try and read as little about the in-between gamers lore as possible, and then just Mr. Ghost says, how much of this game is remade? How much of it is from the original? Well, I mean, Mr. Ghost, I wish I could have had... Oh, BT's going to get ready for bed. Back in a few. Hey, anyway. I wish I could have had more time to walk you through. To me, it felt like the police station had been, like, absolutely lovingly recreated. In a really fecked up way. Like, I remember, like, the paperwork stations and stuff like that. I remember a whole bunch of them. And being able to see them in this, like, rendered glory with this much style was feckin' cool, yo. Just wanted more. Wanted more. Dragdevart says, what were they testing? Just how much cops would brush off it as eccentric design? Like... Although, I think Cartoon Hangover already did that joke. Or was it Mashed? The designer of the Resident Evil series. Of the Umbrella's architect. So the thing that I'm really excited for is what it's going to be like being in the outside environments. Because I remember what blew my mind when I first played this was going from the mansion, because the mansion made sense. You have to understand there was a time in video games when outdoor environments were a real challenge and people just didn't do them. Like, I mean, think about it like this, like, you know, Wolfenstein, Doom, a bunch of the kind of like the action games, they always created these self-contained experiences. And the idea that they'd be able to make like a city, so good. Mitsuko says Umbrella. They're the guys who made the zombies, right? From the movies. Indeed. They have a testing lab up in the hills outside of Raccoon City. And again, the story, the plot to the Resident Evil as a franchise gets more and more ridiculous over time. But if you just take the first couple, basically there was a mansion / test facility up in the Arklay Mountains, which at first you're led to believe is an outbreak, and 2 STARS teams are sent up there. Later on you find out that the STARS teams, the Special Tactics and Rescue Squad, was formed as a combat test of Umbrella's weapons against trained individuals, which is why the STARS team are weirdly specialised, even though Raccoon City's pretty small, comparable. And the reason that they are sent into that is to essentially work as a field test. Mr. Ghost says, right, they made a zombie who grows really large when you hit it with guns and then dies when you shoot it with a pistol. So, it's entirely with, again, very little of what, hello. Very little of what the Umbrella design team do makes any sense. Although the Titans I think were what they were working towards. Wasn't it the zombies were meant to be like an offshoot? Oh, I forget. But yeah, Titans are bad. So Marshall's adding, Resident Evil games, remakes, remasters have been selling pretty good for a while now. Consistently something like that coming out. Scotty, I would love to see a Silent Hill remake with the same depth and quality, but it does feel like currently Konami are really treading water. The only way I can see us getting something like that... No, okay. I apologise, Scotty. That was... I phrased that in a very contradictory manner. What I meant was that I can absolutely see Konami licensing, doing a sub-license for Silent Hill, and allowing other teams to make newer games in that world, or to remake the classics in this manner. I do not think that Konami will do it in-house. That's what I meant to say. Yeah. Lizzie says, so they were RL QA testers in Res Evil 1. Yup. Because the thing is, when you play, your team is, I think you're the beta team, so the alpha team's already been sent into the mansion, and they're all wiped out. You're sent in afterwards to find out what happened to them. Also, if you haven't seen them, the original Resident Evil had live-action cutscenes at the beginning that were amazing. Actually, let me see if I can pull them up. Hang on, would you actually... would you like to see the classic live-action intro, everybody? I guess more for like Mr. Ghost and stuff, because I can pull that up now if you'd like. And then whilst I'm waiting for you to answer that, Rhymes is saying, so the alpha test was more successful than the beta test. Little bit. But it's the idea that the reason why the Raccoon City Police Department has a special forces unit, not a SWAT team, mind you, a STARS team, where they're meant to be for like, I think they're meant to be one part SWAT, one part like, you know, mountain rescue. They were paid for by Umbrella. Umbrella paid off the Raccoon City Police Department to make this team specially. Ah, Lizzie says, yep, movie time with Will. Okay. Okay. Oh, but there is one thing that's worth mentioning. Let's just go to main screen. There is one thing worth mentioning, that the original version for Europe and UK was in black and white to avoid seeing the gore, because this was still hot on the heels back when video game censorship was really being locked down on. 1998, July. Raccoon Forest. Hang on, let me just flip you guys.
Alpha Team is flying around the forest zone situated in northwest Raccoon City, where we're searching for the helicopter of our compatriots Bravo Team.
Oh, they're Bravo Team, you're Alpha Team. Okay.
No, I haven't found it yet. Bizarre murder cases have recently occurred in Raccoon City. There are outlandish reports of families being attacked by a group of about 10 people. Victims were apparently eaten. Bravo Team went to the hideout of the group and disappeared.
Look, Chris!
It's also worth pointing out the re-release of this on the classic DS had
It was Bravo
the live
Team's
action
helicopter.
videos.
Nobody was in it. But strangely, most of the equipment was still there.
Fucking Wesker.
However, we soon discovered why.
I smell the generic rage. It's like Dags.
Hey! Come here!
Yeah, Ice Grid, this is super cringe. There's the rubber dog. And yes, that was a hand, a severed hand holding a gun. Just water being thrown on the floor sounds.
Joseph!
6% this always reminds me of the cheesy... Don't go, helicopter! 6% this also reminds me of the cheesy Sega CD games that they were making, right? It's also the same sound effects that they used for the dragons in Warcraft 2, which cracks me up.
Jill, run for that house!
Sky is saying apparently in the Resident
There are
Evil...
only 3 STARS members left now. Captain Wesker, Jill, and myself.
Captain
We don't know
Wesker,
where Barry
I'm
is.
clearly not a villain. Check this out!
Chris Redfield.
This isn't a parody, this is real!
Jill Valentine. Barry Burton.
Barry, you got problems, mate.
Rebecca Chambers. Albert Wesker. Resident Evil.
Right, feckin' right. Oh, hang on, I just need to quickly turn that on. Like, feckin' hell. Yeah, and it's, what's her face? Rebecca Chambers does this cute little kind of like, you're about to die! Oh, it's so good. Puckfig says, so did you just do the Resi 2 demo? Yeah, we just did. And Hindle with, Albert, I'm totally not the villain, Wesker. Dude's wearing sunglasses at night on a night mission, and no one was like, Wesker, are you an asshole? Oh, but yeah, so that's the level of cheese the original Resident Evil was batting for. But it was still, it still started us all down a path. It started us towards these wonderful feckin', well, wonderful's a strong word. I was going to say exceptional horror games. And kind of without this classic, there's a lot of stuff we wouldn't have. And in the way that live action intro is put together, you can see a lot of their influences. A lot of Romero, yo. Cryostick says we would classify that movie as a spaghetti western. Oh, Roger Moose says an entire song about wearing sunglasses at night. There's several. Hindle says also in the UK version the death scene is cut. It just shows the jugs jump him and then cuts to Jill shouting. Ah yes, I remember that. The UK was pretty bad for censorship at that time, especially anything with live action stuff in. It does make me chortle when people discuss how games are being censored these days, and I'm like, mate, are you kidding? Are you actually kidding? But that's a story for another time. So yeah, I guess going back to the previous questions, from what I played of this, it felt like it was a wholehearted, loving recreation. The controls are better, the gameplay is better, there's more new elements to it, and what I really wanted to do, friends, was just take my time. I wanted to go over all the lovely little details and show you all the stuff. And Beta says, I want to point out that Resident Evil had one of the better FMV intros. Whoa, whoa. We all know Mech Commander, best live action intro of all time. Best. I'm putting it down there. I didn't ask you to think, Mech Commander. I asked you to do. But I don't want to inflict upon you just a day of feckin' live action intros.
You could do that.
I could do that. Beta says, drudge through the terror tracks to see a bad one. Oh god! Beta, there's a name I'd forgotten about. And Scotty says, censoring stuff is complete waste of time for gore. Parents buy stuff for their kids anyway. Yeah. The amount of times where, you know, I was working retail and mum would come in to buy their game for little Tim Tim, and I'm like, you're buying them a GTA game. Explaining to these people the content of it, and sometimes these parents would be like, oh shit, that's what's in it? And they look at little Tim Tim, and Tim Tim's going to get in heck. And sometimes it'd be like, just don't care. If this is going to shut him up, I will buy him whatever. So Sixbro saying, I'm a big zombie fan. Live close to where the original Night of the Living Dead and the original Dawn of the Dead were filmed, and that's how it started for me. Cool. Have you had a chance to visit any of those places? Because, I mean, I imagine, at least for Night of the Living Dead, it's not quite as cool, but going to the mall of Dawn of the Dead sounds kind of rad. Complete tangent. But in the UK, there used to be an airsoft, site called the Mall, where they do like zombie reenactment matches and things like that. Sometimes they do like Nerf games, sometimes like airsoft games, but they'd actually pack out a mall, and it's crazy. One of the things it taught me, which was really interesting, is malls are really interconnected. Like there's little, like, you can get in and out of pretty much each shop front, usually through the back, through the underground, through most places. Oh, Lizzie says, let's try to remember the great censorship of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles into Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles in the UK.
Is that a thing they did?
Yeah, they took the word ninja out because they thought it was too violent. Marshall's like, stop the airsoft talk, try not to buy back into the hobby. Well, I'm not buying back into it. You know what? We talked about it the other day. It's not something we need to go back to. So Sixbro said they have a festival on both years. That's cool. So I guess, Sixbro, what I'm really going to be interested to see is that with this, because Resident Evil, especially the early Resident Evils, took a lot of inspiration from Romero's work, is are they going to emulate the original and how it interpreted Romero's work, or are they going to look at the source material, how the original did it, and then try and extrapolate it into looking at it through this new medium? Because, you know, there's no fixed camera, there's no tank controls, you can look at things in depth and in detail. So already there's a lot of changes in how you experience this world, so what else is there that we'd be going through? Six Bro says, correct, that's how they stock stores, worked in an airport and something similar. Yeah. And I'm really glad I got to do them all, because as an experience, it was so cool. It was feckin' terrifying, because literally all the underground areas were completely pitch black. So unless you had a camera with you, you had a light with you, you couldn't see. But it also meant that basically what you could do was hide in the darkness and wait for people to go past you, and then just like emerge from the shadows like the Predator. It's feckin' cool. It's feckin' cool. I think from what I remember correctly is sadly the mall in, it was in Reading. Sadly the mall has closed. So there we go. Scotty Doggy says, I've seen Blockbuster staff refuse to sell customers Black Ops 2 because the kids threw a paddy in the shop for his mum to buy it and she wasn't keen. Yeah, it's always unfortunate, because as an employee of those places, there's only so much you can do. You can educate the parents, you can, at times, you can educate the parents and you can say, hey, maybe don't, but there isn't, you can't, there's only so much you can be like, hey, we're not doing this, so yo. Alleged says, what, old friends? Are we going to go through the demo already? Yeah, I'm sorry to say, Alleged, you did miss it. Now, if you want to have a crack at it yourselves, I'd love to know people's feels. Personally, this has made me very keen. And not because of the demo. In fact, the demo is... Currently, I'm sitting here slightly irked. Oh, and BT's going to try and get some sleep. Hey, BT, it might have been brief, but it's always lovely to see you. Even a teeny tiny bit on a Sunday. So, yeah. I forget where I was going with that one. But yeah, the detail on that was wonderful. The gun controls were great. And one thing that's really interesting is that if Leon is startled, or if you get into a situation where you kind of... Leon's reticle doesn't shrink if you are startled or if things are going on. And I don't know if that came across. It was an interesting little... It was a nice touch. Oh, excuse me. Where did that come from? Excuse me entirely. I'm so very sorry. Rhyme says you've got a nearly 2-hour stream out of a half-an-hour demo. Your wafflemancy powers are intense. I mean, Moose, I can't take any credit for it. You've all been sharing like Resident Evil stories, talking about zombie films and stuff. Like, honestly, I once again, I'm merely the facilitator for you lovely, lovely folks. And Sixbro saying, good question. Until we actually see what characters will be returning and how the dialogue's changed, Romero was big on social issues, and that's why he chose who he did for his lead protagonists. Very true. And there are some elements... that... Sorry, the thought completely dropped out of my head midway through. What I was trying to say was that there are some elements that the original Resident Evils emulated from Romero, and there are others that it kind of missed. Now that we understand the classic source material better, will this new Resident Evil remake, will it try and articulate on the points that it might not necessarily hit upon wholeheartedly? Who knows? Is William Birkin still going to have a bloody great big eyeball in his shoulder? And why wasn't that the thing that everyone immediately shot at? I mean, it's a big eyeball. Honestly, you hit that, the whole shoulder joint's coming off. Like, yo. Punk Fix said, did you shoot their meaty legs? There are layers of damage of insane. I cut someone's legs off, but no. Feck, I should have done more with that. Excuse me. So we're going to be throwing over to Ket in just a little bit, one and all. But I think I mentioned that to you all, right? Ket's going to be streaming this evening, so I was only the delightful warm-up act for the stream. And basically, because I really wanted to play this demo tonight, and I wanted to do it with all of you lot. So, yeah. Alleged says, will you upload the VOD to YouTube? Yes, I will. I won't be able to kick off the upload until tomorrow. I have to wait 24 hours after a stream before I'm allowed to share it on other sites, but yeah, I'll be doing that. Beta says, I have one weird thing to share across all 3 of the original Romero zombie films. The word zombie is only spoken aloud once. Cool. And I don't know if it was changed in later films, but one of the things that I really love is that you never find out the origin of the zombie virus. It's kind of implied that a red meteorite passing past the Earth is the cause of, and there's the crazy preacher guy who kind of does his whole, when there's no more room in hell, the dead shall walk the earth, implying this kind of like Judgment Day type thing. But if I remember, there is not a point in the classic trilogy where someone goes, it is X. Sixbro is saying, I'm happy to see how detailed so far these games have been. I'm willing to forgive certain traditional mechanics to enjoy the game in true detail that it deserves. Feck, yes! Thank you, Six. Thank you. I mean, I'm with you there. Ah, and whoever it was who just picked something up from the Humble store, thank you kindly, yo. Thank you kindly. Whatever it is, I have replayed Resident Evil 2. Excuse me, it's going to be... Encore. Charming, I know. Cryostic says, Penumbra Collection, 1.5 euros in Humble. Quite as well. Sorry. This is going to be really gross, I do apologise. I'm so sorry. So sorry, one and all. Some games I'd love to play for you all. Not just the Penumbra series, I'd love to do, as I said, Parasite Eve 2. But yeah, so Sixbro, going back to your original point, I played and replayed Resident Evil 2 a bunch of times, and I'm happy that it exists. But the thing about replaying it is that gaming as an art form has moved on. We now have better ways of doing the things that Resident Evil was trying to do. And it's not fair sometimes to look at just the original, because it was something that started it all, but it made a lot of mistakes. And a lot of mistakes that we have fixed since then, right? Only if what this remake is doing is it's both enacting on the nostalgia of the environment, showing the detail of the world that I spent far too much time in, but it's using newer, more interesting game mechanics to deliver the same emotional experience. That dancing between dread and empowerment, that dancing between, frustration and adventure and exploration, knowing that you might need to check that room again, but yet counting every bullet and being like, I don't know if I've got enough. Yeah. And supposedly me and Lizzie had the same sneeze. Yes. Six saying, oh, I actually go to a Magic the Gathering shop behind Moraville Mall from Dawn. One of the best around. For some reason that doesn't surprise me. Oh, and alleged, I'm doing fine. I think I've either got the start of a cold or I just kind of shouted myself hoarse a little bit last night. But I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So yeah. I don't think there's anything else to add other than this, from what I have played of this experience, it feels like a truly loving, truly interesting, truly faithful reimagining, if you will. No, remake is correct. It's not a reimagining. It's definitely a remake. Or remaster is what they're calling it. Terms are so tricky. But anyway. Oh, plunge with remake. Nice. What was I going to add? I think that's really about it, y'all. For the first time in ages, the credits will be nice and short today. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to thank the lovely peeps that, you know, threw a few bits that I think we had, was it Zaku that subbed? Just say a quick cheeky thank you to that. And then, dude, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. You can send people over anytime.
Are you ready to roll?
Yeah.
Wonderful. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you've not encountered this one before, is with Sixberg and a few other peeps. So, I stream over here, and in just a second, we're going to do a raid. And we're going to be raiding all the way over there. That's right, we're going to be raiding Ket. Now, I know the trek will be long. Some of you will be lost along the way. But somehow, we'll make it through. Right. Right. So let me just bust out them credits, and then we shall continue. Marshall says, of course, the one day where I was totally chill, I stay around till the credits. Sorry, Marshall. But I don't know if you've seen the credits, especially on the VODs from like Friday and stuff. Those were ridiculous. Those were utterly ridiculous, in the best way. And Camille took great glee and teasing the heck out of me at Sober yesterday for what may happen if we hit 1,000. If. So, as for those of you that threw cheers, the lifeblood of this operation, I'd like to thank Vanderbeest, Quasi, and J-Post. Your moderators today were Caffeine, Lizzie, and Slifter. An excellent team. We had 2 brand new followers, Sixberg and Zaku, or MS05 Jazaku. And Jazaku is our brand new subscriber. Oh, Dragsvert. Dragsvert saying, "Hey Will, hold on, your credit's complete." I'll just scribble it in there. Dragsvert, thank you for the tiny bits. Thank you all. This was a tiny, like, itty-bitty, unplanned Sunday night stream, and I gotta say, I had a lot of fun. Thank you for coming with me on this. I'm sure you guessed it by now, but Resident Evil's a franchise that matters to me. So if I get the chance to share it with you lot, I'm happy. And yes, Lizzie, I'm going to go drink a bunch of water. I've got some cold and flu stuff in my go bag. And I will be looking after myself. I won't be streaming tomorrow. I'll be back on Tuesday. But I will do the schedule for next week. There may be a really weird, cool, interesting stream on Friday, but more on that later. All right. But for now, we're going to be jumping over to Ket's stream, who is just tens of centimeters over that way. So, oh, Alleged Man says, "All right, good night all, and have an excellent sleep." And to you, again, thank you all for coming on me this teeny tiny half-hour journey. I'll see you in a couple of days, okay? Well, I mean, I'm a co-host on Ket's show for a bit, but I need water. All right, you ready for us, mate?
Yep.
Let's feck it, do this.
Hundreds of centimeters, tens of inches.
Tens of inches, lol. Oh, Lizzie says, "Excellent. I'll give Echo a word if you don't." My God. All right, let's do this.